All right. What is good for the culture family? I'm just going to hop on real quick. And basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a quick pre market prep before the market opens here at 9:30. We're going to talk about a couple of things that I really want to mention. Basically, what's been going on in Israel and how did that affect the markets, and what I'm looking for going into the markets for today's session. So, give me one moment here. All right. Let me pull this up. Okay, you guys can hear me all right? You should be able to. All right, so let's talk about what happened here on gold. So yesterday I mentioned in my Telegram in the VIP that I wanted to see a bullish continuation for price to close as a bullish daily candle, right? And why I'm anticipating this is because I want to see it was literally was because we had closed as a bullish daily candle, right? So we see that we have a ton of volume here, closed as a bullish daily candle, and it's likely that price could continue pushing bullish to target some of these all-time highs. Now gold has just been on a rampage to the upside here, right? Now this is the safest haven in terms of an investment, right? Because gold year on year end has just been extremely bullish. I remember back in 2023 when we were at these 1872, 1850 highs and lows. Oh, give me 1 second. Great. No, but you good. It's all right. I'm just going through the market prep. All right, so what I'm looking for on gold, if you take a look here on the daily time frame, like I said, we were looking for a bullish daily to continue following the daily that we seen yesterday, right? We closed as an extremely bullish daily candle. It was likely that we formed a bottom wick and continue pushing up. Now, what we seen happen overnight during our session or during the Asian session is Israel bombing. And so when in times that things get rough in the economy, gold generally goes up. And why? Because it's a safe haven asset, a safe haven currency. If people are looking to withdraw their money from the banks, they will put it more than likely in gold. And so throughout time, we've seen gold has gone up, and it's gone up over 50% in the past 2 years. So it's double, over 100%, excuse me, in the past 2 years. So this is an extreme safe haven currency. So what are we looking for in terms of the market structure today coming into the session? Well, price is still in this bullish market structure. Daily is currently bullish, right? And then on this lower time frame, you can see that we had a high get created, and then price began to on, let's say we dial down to our 15-minute time frame, or our 5-minute time frame, excuse me. We had higher highs and higher lows getting created after we swept a key high. I was looking yesterday for a target break of the high, and that's what we've seen happen for a continuation. But what we've seen happen here on the smaller time frame is price going from creating higher highs and higher lows to now creating lower lows and lower highs. We see in our market session, we're now flipped back bullish, right? So we're in this relative overall time frame, just going through it. Our multi-analysis, our overall time frame, our daily time frame is bullish, our 4-hour time frame is bullish, and now we're flipping from creating lower lows and lower highs to creating higher highs and higher lows coming into the market session with an overall sentiment. So in terms of targeted areas, we could look to see these highs get taken out over here for gold, looking at a target of 34.66, and this could happen on the New York Open. And how I plan to get in is to scale in on the potential bullish continuation of this move. We'll look to target some of our larger time frame structural areas in the live here. So areas that I'll look for to target is our current day high, which I just mentioned. And then if we break through this high, to see how price overall reacts at this all-time high around this 3,500 level here. So that is what I'll be looking for. And just throughout the next week, we have We have news coming out at 10, so we don't want to be jumping the gun on this current move. Current 4-hour candle is in fact bullish. Previous 2 4-hour candles closed bearish. The lower time frame structure is in fact bullish as well. So we're anticipating a bullish continuation coming into today's session, which, should be pretty solid. You can see we're already targeting those 346 3,466 highs, and if we break through these highs and then we see a correction and continuation, we'll look for a continued move to target those 3,500 levels at that all-time high. Like I said, gold is just a safe haven currency. So in times of economic distraught, people tend to put their money in gold, which is why we've seen it increase over 100% in the past 2 years. Gold just continues to go up. So if you look at it on our weekly time frame here, this is a currency that you want to long-term invest. In terms of long-term investing, these are the things that we look for in a currency pair, something that is going to continue to grow with time and throughout history, because it's finite, right? So there's a limited amount of gold on the earth, but not a limited amount of dollars that can be printed. And so gold holds its value in weight, like literally. So we can see a continuation, steeper move up. That's what I'm anticipating. Depending on how I capitalize on this structure, whether we break this high, if we start to see a lower time frame flip, just like yesterday's trade, I may take a corrective structure based trade. I'll go through it to yesterday's trade here. Where was we at? Right here. Where is it? No, Thursday, excuse me. Thursday, here we go. This is a whole week ago. I'm tripping. My trade was right here. There we go. So yesterday, gold was in a relative slow market structure, right? We had a push down, and then price began to push up during our session time. We had this high get taken out here, and I have a video breakdown explaining exactly what I'm going through. This is my corrective structure based trade. So we had a high get taken out up here. You can see price created this new high. Then we had another impulsive wave up later last night. But where my trade was, let me see, where was our opening range? Here. All right. I took a corrective based structure trade here. So price was creating higher highs and higher lows within this 5 minute time frame, within here. So once we swept this high, I was looking for a correction based move to this downside, and all I was looking for was a 1 to 2 risk reward. And like I said, I have a full video coming down to break down how I take my correction based trades versus my continuation based trades. But let's go back to it here on the 1 minute. Yeah. So once we swept this high, I wait for my lower time frame shift. So price created a high up here. It had this low get created. We broke through this low. We corrected back up. We broke through this low once again, corrected up. This confirmed that price was now going from creating higher highs and higher lows to lower lows and lower highs. And now we could see a potential continuation of that move to the downside. So where I actually took my entry was on the first 5 minute candle to close right here, which aligned with our 15-minute time frame and my larger time frame analysis, looking for a 1 to 2 risk to reward on this trade. And this was a very, very solid trade yesterday, and this was the same exact setup that I took for Monday's trade as well. A correction based trade going against the direction of the larger time frame trend, looking, I don't know why it keeps grabbing it like this, looking for a 1 to 2 risk to reward. There we go. So why I say all that to say is, if price breaks through this high and we do see a corrective structure begin to form in our session time, I'll look for another correction structure based trade. It's Friday. We do have news, so we want to wait to see what happens. I obviously want to trade in the direction of the volume, but if our volume is currently bearish during our session time, then that's just what we're going to do, is we're going to take our corrective structure based trade. We call it a week. It was a profitable week. And then we'll regroup this weekend on what we expect long-term to see for gold. So to hop on NQ real quick, let's take a look. You can see overall NQ has still remained on a 4-hour time frame in a bullish market structure. Price is creating higher highs and higher lows. We had the news release last night, which went ahead and dropped the markets here. Price did in fact create a lower time frame shift. We have to respect the larger time frame market. It's not likely that price pushes all the way down to break through this low, even though we've seen this lower time frame market shift. And why I say that is because we're also respecting off of a larger time frame key low here, right? So price remained bullish off of this key low, which broke through this previous high. We had a correction, so it's not likely to me that we go ahead and break through this area here. But if we dial down to the smaller time frame and price starts to show signs of a flip by breaking through our lower time frame structural lows, like this area here, we see a correction. We could see this move to the downside. I think it's more likely that price remains in this current bullish structure that it's in, and we start to see a steeper move up, which could likely start to fill some of this gap and this move to the upside here. I don't think that we're going to take out any of the week highs or the lows of this week. I think we would need a lot of volume in markets, and we could see, depending on what the news release is at 10 o'clock. So it just depends. I'm not saying that this is set in stone, but as of right now, I'm overall bullish on this structure, anticipating price to make a steeper move to the upside before we see, you know, any kind of moves to the downside. And I'm also bullish just on price attacking these all-time highs. You can see what we've seen here. We had an impulsive move to the downside. Price is nearing these all-time highs, and if we do in fact see these all-time highs get broken, I expect some volume upon the break of these all-time highs. And then how we execute in times of all-time highs, you know, because the gold is in the same boat here where we are approaching all-time highs. What we want to do is we want to target key structural or not structural, but solid whole numbers, right? These are areas that are prices in the markets that people will be having orders placed. This is where profits will be get taken out. So in times where we're floating up in no man's land at all-time highs and we don't have a lot of structure to base our target profit off of, this is how we're going to look to set our target profits when we're in these all-time high situations. Now, I'm not saying that we're pushing up today to break all-time highs, but in the next couple of weeks, we will be breaking these all-time highs. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the market structure on the lower time frame will show us that prior to it happening. So we'll be, you know, we'll be alert for it. So with NQ here, definitely want to wait to see what we get for the 9:30 open and then what we have for our news release. So definitely going to be slower to execute today, but I'm anticipating an overall bullish move if this level here remains and holds. So if we hold this 21,465 lows, I'm anticipating price can continue pushing bullish. 4-hour candle currently is bearish, so we'll just have to wait and see. We do have a lower time frame structure flip. I don't think that we're going to go ahead and break through these lows, but if we do, at that point is when I would potentially look for sell positions. And YM and NQ, or YM and ES, are going to likewise be the same. You know, we've seen this structural low get broken here, but they kind of flow off of the NQ's volume. So generally, whatever direction the NQ sets for the day is the direction that these two tend to follow. ES more closely than YM. So you can see here for ES, this same structural low. I want to see the integrity of this area hold. You can see we have this sign of rejection, which is a sign that price could reverse. And then on the smaller time frame, we have that lower time frame indication of a reversal here. If you take a look, price was creating lower lows and lower highs within this structure. Then it began to slow down. This is a sign of exhaustion. Then price begins to push up. We have our lower time frame structural shift. Now this flips the structure from this smaller time frame from being creating lower lows and lower highs to creating higher highs and higher lows. And it happened at a key structural level on the larger time frame, which is why we anticipate that we could see a steeper move to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for coming into the markets for all of these pairs. I will see you guys, for those of you in the VIP, I'll see you guys for the live. I'm going to do this every single day where I'm going to start doing a pre-market prep so we can break down the markets and the things that I'm looking for coming into the market session, so that you guys can have some insight. You guys can hop on, ask questions, anything, any charts that you guys want to look at, we could take a look at, anything like that, anything you'd be struggling with, So, because I'm here to want to help, right? So I appreciate you guys for tapping in, and I will catch you guys in the next session. Next week I'll be sending out my weekly outlook in the Telegram. So if you want to join the free Telegram, the link should be in the description down below. If not, I'll add it on there so that you can see it. Matter of fact, actually, I'll put it in the chat here so that you guys can join, and then I'll get up out of here. That's not what I wanted to send. Let's see. More. I want to share this channel. Goodness gracious. How do I share it? I'm going to have to figure out how to share this. There it is. Nah, that's not it. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to copy the link, but I'm gonna upload the link into the description of this live once we wrap up here, so that you guys can join up. If you're late to the live, you can go back and see what I'm looking for today's market session. There was a lot of volume caused here. You can see we're targeting those highs that we were looking for here on gold, and I'm gonna execute based on what we talked about. If we get the break of the high, I'm gonna look for the correction based trade. If volume continues pushing bullish, then we're just gonna look for our continuation based trade after 10 o'clock to see what the news is. So appreciate you guys tapping in. Like I said, I'm going to send my weekly outlook in the free Telegram. So if you're not in the free Telegram, join up to the free Telegram, and I will see you guys next week for Monday's pre-market prep.